Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. So today's video I think is going to be a little bit more sentimental than I expected it to be, but I'm really excited for this video and I wouldn't have said that 6 months ago. So yeah, let me share with you. So in 2007 is the year that Andrew and I met. We got engaged in 2008 and married in 2009. Now, just 2 months into our engagement in 2008, Andrew had come to me and said that he really felt like the Lord was moving him to Southern California with another couple who had got hired there as youth pastors. So I said, okay, knowing that as soon as we got married in 2009, I would be leaving home and going to Southern California as well. So that's what happened in March of 2009. We were married and we went on our honeymoon. As soon as I got back from my honeymoon, I lived in California. So if you do the math, that is almost 9 years ago that I left home and just over 10 years ago since Andrew left home. So where is home for us? Las Vegas, Nevada. I was born and raised there. That is where I went through, I was born, I went through all of schooling there, and I also went to college there. Andrew had lived off and on from Vegas and back east where he is from, and then he spent pretty much his entire teenage and his beginning of his young adult life in Vegas, and that is where we met and got married. So the majority of our family, especially our close family, live in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the first 4 years of our marriage, we went back home for every holiday, for events and things like that. We didn't have any kids, and it was only 4 hours away from where we were living. So from 2009 to 2012, we lived in, I thought it was a pretty good apartment for starting out married couple. We worked really hard to get out of debt. We worked really hard to save for a house. We built our careers. We met great friends. We served in our church, and it was such a fun growing time as a young couple and as young adults. I mean, I was 24 when we got married. Andrew was 23. Yes, he's a year younger than me. So we were young, and so we spent those first couple of years just figuring out our life as married adults. So in April of 2012, we bought our first house, which was so exciting, and I miss that house. I love that house. So we bought our first house in 2012. Then fall of 2012, we got pregnant for the first time, and we were excited. We were ready to jump into this realm of parenting. Unfortunately, 11 weeks into that pregnancy, I had miscarried, and at the same time they told me that I was going to miscarry, they also told me that we were pregnant with twins. So we just let my body naturally do its thing. It took 3 weeks, and it was a pretty emotional 3 weeks that we went through as a couple. And I think it's a period of time that really strengthened us as a couple, defined some key things in us, and it was pretty heartbreaking. So we ended up miscarrying beginning of December in 2012. We waited a whole year later to start again, and we got pregnant again with our daughter Lily, and actually her due date and the twins' due date were literally days apart. So 2013, we started with our second pregnancy, and in 2014, Lily was born. She was actually born 5 weeks early, so her due date was like end of June, and she was born May 18th of 2014. All of a sudden, not only were we first-time parents, but now we were parents to a preemie who actually had to spend some time in the NICU. I was discharged from the hospital without my baby. She finally came home. She was 4 pounds 11 ounces when she was born, and that was the same weight she was when she came home to me. And we started this difficult nursing journey, and it was a crazy whirlwind of a year, her first year of life. So by the time she turned 1, we were ready to try this baby thing again. We wanted our kids close in age, so that was already something we had planned. So actually on Lily's first birthday in 2015, we found out we were pregnant with Max. I had a pretty normal pregnancy with him, and in January of 2016, he was born, and he was the sweetest, calmest little baby until he turned 11 months old. An all boy adventure his vocals came out, and he just became a fierce, determined little boy. Also in 2016, we sold our house. So we owned our house for 4 years, and it was where I developed my style. It's where Andrew got to get a little bit hands-on with helping me with stuff, whether he liked it or not. We saved up and bought things for our house along the way because the only debt we had was our house, and that's how we wanted to keep it. So we slowly furnished that house from top to bottom. It still needed some work in my opinion when we left, but I feel like any house I own is always going to need something done. So we sold our first home in 2016 and we moved to Northern California, where we've been here now for a year. In these 9 to 10 years, we never had a desire to really move back home. Life was getting really crazy and really stressful with having 2 young kids, especially a young son who was pretty demanding. But I also transitioned from, in this last year, from a full-time working business mom to full-time stay-at-home who also works from home as well. And so it was a big transition from me being home with the kids all the time and trying to figure out how working from home works as well. So I think that was just another added stress level for us. So in August of 2017, so just a few months ago, we went home and visited as a family, kind of for the first time in almost a year that we had gone home and visited, and it was amazing. Andrew and I spent our first night away from the kids ever. So my daughter is 3.5, and it was the first time we ever spent the night away from our kids ever. It was so refreshing to the soul, to me as a parent. Andrew and I looked at each other and said, if we lived near family, we'd probably be better parents and better spouses. So we spent the last couple of months going back and forth on, we just got up here, do we move home? What does our future look like? What does the big future for our family look like? And does that involve eventually going home? The lease was coming up here on our home. We tried to negotiate a month to month to get through the year. Our landlord wasn't having it. He also, he said he would do a 6-month, but then he raised the rent on us by $200. And so it really came down to the pressure of, we need to make a decision on what does this look like for our family, what's best for us as a couple and our family. And we decided moving home was the next step for us. So here in just a few weeks, we're gonna be loading up a U-Haul and driving home. We're going back to Vegas. We're gonna be around family and friends. Like, I don't know. Honestly, 6 months ago, that wasn't even something we ever discussed. It was never something we ever really thought about, discussed together. But now every day we talk about it and we get so excited for the idea to be around family. It is hard being away from family as a parent. When days get stressful, you as a parent have really no place to escape to be able to sit on someone's couch, take a deep breath and say, today sucked, and have someone who loves your kids unconditionally. My son has been really difficult in the last year, who loves your kids unconditionally and won't judge you or criticize you on your parenting because you're having a crappy day. So we have spent many of years by ourselves for holidays, and not big holidays. Big holidays, you know, I had family come out or we'd go home, but like little 3-day weekend holidays like Labor Day or Memorial Day or 4th of July, or little holidays where we reminded, like, we're by ourselves. Like, how do we spend these holidays alone? And birthdays alone. I have a pretty big cousin family and they all get together for everyone's birthday, all the adults' birthdays, all the kids' birthdays, and I was just always sending gifts off and we were never part of that. So I'm emotional about it because I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be surrounded by family and friends that I have just stayed connected with through social media, through text messaging, that we can, you know, that are having kids and have young kids, that we can just be with family and friends. And I'm really excited. So I want to encourage you, listen, being married and having young kids is a rough time of life, and never be ashamed to admit that. Never be ashamed to ask for help. Never be ashamed to get counseling with your spouse. Never be ashamed if you are really mad at your kids that day or you're really stressed at your kids that day, because it's a hard part in life. And never be scared or ashamed to make those really hard decisions that is best for your family, whether anyone else around you understands it or agrees with you. At the end of the day, you and your husband know what's best for your family, and you make those hard decisions. Who cares what anyone else says, what everyone else's opinions are? And making this decision to move home was one of the hardest decisions we've made in our life, harder than selling our house and moving up here. But now that we have made it, we feel like years of stress lifted off of our shoulders, and we're really, really excited. So all that to say is we're moving home. We're so excited. There will be a whole journey I will share with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a little bit of encouragement that, like, if it's rough for you right now, you're not alone. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.